G'day guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode of Hardcore Minecraft. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of building, and we're also going to head over to the Bastion and try and do a little bit of interior stuff. Now, I know I said that last episode, but we are going to focus on the interior stuff for today's one. So to begin with, what we're going to be doing is trying to turn this area here into what's going to become the Piglin Village. So we'll put up a couple of houses, map out some pathways, and do a little bit of terraforming and try and get this to a reasonably nice look so that we can build our houses on it. One thing that I am going to leave is the different levels. I like the idea of the different levels and it all weaving through each other. So we're going to extend it probably out to about there and come all the way around. Use all this natural form to try and create the village. So I think that should look pretty cool. We've got a whole bunch of resources in these shulkers that we are going to be using today, and we're going to be building in that style over there. We do need to get some basalt actually, but that's easy enough. There, we've got some over in that. So we're going to be using that style of plan and building up this area around here. So with that, let's jump into today's episode. So the first thing I want to do is map out a little bit of a pathway. So I've created this area down here that's going to be our stairs. And then we can use this warp stem to kind of figure out where our paths are going to go so that we know where to build our houses. We'll have the main path, which is going to be quite a large one, and then we'll have these little offshoot paths that take us to different areas. There's only a rough, very rough outline of where we want the paths to go, but it will work. And this will also depend on how far out we actually want the village to stretch, because obviously this is a nice area here. Obviously we can make it quite small and limit it to where we are up at that point there, but like this is a nice area out here as well. It's nice and flat, so we might get rid of this part of Netherrack here, make this the center, and then build out this way as well. Now we've got a little bit of a plan of the structure of the village, so let's jump straight into it. To start with, we might want to do a little bit of a centerpiece behind us there, and then we might push on to one or two buildings, and then start playing around with the ground around here. So we might change some of it into, what's it called? Is it nylium? We've got some in the chests that the piglins are guarding, so let's get rid of these two. Bye, and bye. The crimson nylium and the warped nylium. We don't have any warped nylium though. We can go and get some from over there. So we'll be changing some of the netherrack into that as well. And then a little bit of terraforming. So with that, let's jump into our first third-person time-lapse and get this done. Well, that was a nice little build. I actually really enjoyed that. I had a lot of problems with ghasts, but what do you expect in the nether? So this little centerpiece here, I think came up really well. Not that you can see it from down here, but hopefully in the time lapse it shows up really nice. Now there's a couple of options we've got. We could recreate a smaller crystal in here and then try our beacon trick again. I haven't revisited the beacon in that one, but we could put another little crystal here and then a beacon right down the bottom in the center coming up through. That would look really cool, I think, but it all depends on what's above and whether we can get the center of this to line up with a top bit of bedrock. I'm going to try that trick. Not that you guys seen it, but on stream we tried to use some TNT to clear the netherrack above that crystal there, but It didn't work the first time, so we might give that a shot again. Otherwise, this is the general aesthetic we're going to go for. We're going to be using a lot of blackstone in this village area. And I'm playing around with quartz, but I don't really like that. We might change that to like a polished blackstone or something. Or maybe just the wood. We'll see how it goes. And we're going to be doing a lot of custom trees around this area, as well as bringing in the trees from the Nether as well. So hopefully that looks pretty good. This, I was a little bit worried about the basalt moving into the blackstone, but I think it works really well. I think anyway. So there's still a lot to do in this village, but I'm running out of resources. So we might hop across to the... Sorry. So we might hop across to the Bastion and do some interior decorating over there, and then we'll go and do a little bit more work over there, fixing up the outside of that, maybe add a couple of custom trees, and that might be it for today. So we'll see how we go. Now, the key problem I've got with this Bastion is the fact that I'm actually no good at interiors. So that poses a bit of a problem. Let's go here. I'd like to get better at interiors, but I just don't know where to look. I try and look for inspiration online, but it's so hard to know what your type, like what you're searching for. You can barely see the chain, but it doesn't look too bad. We'll run with it. We'll see how it goes. That's actually not too bad. We'll keep that. I also want to use more of the redstone lamps around the place because I really, really like it against the blackstone. See if we can hang... How does that look? That looks fine. Now, this is a long-term plan, but something that I do want to incorporate into this is some armor stands with some netherite armor on them. If we could get 4 in here, that would be absolutely amazing, but 4 netherite armor stands is... Oh, 4 netherite armor sets is a lot of netherite, so we'll see how we go with that. The other problem we're going to face in this area is the piglins not liking the blue flame. So we're going to hear a lot of noise when it comes to these dudes. We've got armor stands back at the Nether hub, so we can bring those across. And then it's all just about creating the idea of a fort. Alright, I'm hoping this works. We'll see. But what we're going to try and do is put a motif onto this part here, and that's going to be of the piglins, the piglin's face. I think that should be cool. The hardest part is going to be knowing what blocks to use. So we'll try and do it out of basalt and blackstone. This may be where the quartz comes in, actually. We might be able to use that because the piglins have white eyes. So if we go and get our quartz, it is going to be hard to see, but I think maybe the subtlety of it will make it nice. So there's the nose. Wow, that's not quartz. There and there. No. One more across. There. Let's see if you can see that definition or not. We might have to use completely different blocks altogether. Whoa! The pattern's there. It's just you can't see it. So maybe we should just make it out of something else completely. It'd be nice if we could use a similar color. We'll leave it there for now. Oh, no. Gold would be too much. That's the design we want anyway. So we know for later. Alright, I'm thinking that's looking pretty good. We came up with a solution for our quartz. I think that's looking awesome. Just framing some of the edges makes it look so much better. over the front as well. We've even tried, I added a little square up here, but we'll see how we go. We might get rid of some of the basalt and replace it with some quartz. We'll see. The other thing I decided was, why would the piglins have netherite? They're obsessed with gold. So we'll put gold armor in these little nooks here, and that adds to the color as well. And the quartz also adds a little bit to the lighting. It reflects off the lighting really nicely. So in here, it looks really good. We've got our fireplace over there roaring. And although that isn't as heavily defined, I can still see it. And I kind of like it, actually. I kind of like it. So this area is looking really nice now. You can kind of see the feel that I'm going for in here. It's very reminiscent of like a bandit's lair from D&D. Like barrels sitting around, fires. That's kind of what I'm seeing this as. It's like it's a little bit prettier than that. It's a fort. So it's going to look a little bit prestigious, but at the same time, they're bullies. That's basically what they are. So for now, we're going to place some custom trees down here and bone meal the ground a little bit more. So we've got a little bit more spread of the nylium. And then that's probably going to do it for this episode. So we'll see how this turns out quickly. Probably want it to be one more high. It's really hard to make natural looking custom trees, in my opinion anyway. There we go, a couple of custom trees. We'll add some shroom lights to those to make them look a little bit nicer. And one of the normal trees at the back. That's looking a little bit better. We've still got a little bit to do to that. So guys, that's going to be it for today. We've done a fair bit. I'm really happy with how this little village area here has come about. It's looking really good. And now we just need to figure out what the centerpiece for this little hole, this smoky hole here is going to be. Whether we do the crystal or something else, I'm not 100% sure. But let's deal with him first so he doesn't interrupt our ending. Like I said, that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. We're not going to be in the Nether for too much longer. We've got about 7 episodes left, I think, from memory. And we're hoping to finish off the Bastion and this village here before heading back to the overworld. So fingers crossed we get all that done. We'll start working on the farms again next episode and try and get them up and running. Still struggling with our rockets over here. We've only got 42 at the moment. Really need to get that dealt with. So let's see how we go with that. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. All right, bye for now.